The widow of Jason Hennessy Snr has been up in court in relation to 4 XL bully dogs, is how we finally described it. There was a bit of debate whether they're XL pit bull dogs, but the guards are seeking the destruction of 4 of them after they came to the home, and the guards said and told the court how they were left in fear for their lives when one of them attacked them.
Yeah.
It's under a particular Police Property Act, is it? Yeah,
so Tom Chute is reporting this story. So Veronica Maher, she's the widow of Jason Hennessy Snr, and she was in the Dublin District Court. Tom Chute was there reporting for us, and basically it was an application taken by the guards under the Control of Dogs Act to destroy her 4 pit bull dogs. So they're Oddie, I think I got that wrong. Oddie, Reggie, and then there's a mother dog called Medusa, and the 4th dog was Joe.
And do you know what Medusa is? Would you know from antiquity? No?
Well, I know it's like some kind of god, is it?
Well, it was, I suppose it was, Medusa was, it's from Greek legend, Greek myths and legends, where Medusa was, I suppose, a demigod, one of the Gorgons, and I think she had a terrible time from the other gods and may have been subject to attacks. But anyway, she had hair that in the shape of snakes.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember this myth
at all?
Yeah,
it's not trying to show me up for my lack of
I'm just
popular culture knowledge.
However, well, I don't know if that considers popular culture.
No,
because considering it's actually ancient culture.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay.
Thanks, so the 4 dogs, the mother is called Medusa, and then there was a younger dog called Joe.
Yeah. So basically 6 gardaí. This happened in March at her home at Ms Maher's home on Sheephill Avenue in Blanchardstown. 6 gardaí had arrived at the scene, and they basically said that 4 officers had to flee. I think Oddie was the dog that they claimed they had to flee from. And Ms Maher was trying to defend the application yesterday. She obviously doesn't want her dogs destroyed, and she denied that there was a gate, that she opened the gate and let Oddie out at the
So basically that comes down, that's the disputed evidence.
Yeah.
The fact that Oddie chased the gardaí down the street is not really in dispute. But what the guards are saying, obviously, is that he was let out to go at them.
Yeah, she denies this, because basically they were trying to. The reason for destroying the dogs would be that they were dangerous and not in control. So that would be, that would be the reason given to grant that order. So they were trying to prove that case, and then she was denying this. And she obviously as well, I suppose we can go into her husband's murder, but she was trying to say that they were the last thing that she had to remind her of her late husband as well. That was part of her defence.
Yeah, and obviously the guards, one of the guards gave evidence that she told them to get the fuck away from my house, use murderers. That's the Garda's case. Obviously, this comes in the backdrop of her husband's murder, one of the most notorious killings in Irish gangland history, when Jason Hennessy Snr was shot as he sat in Brown Steakhouse on Christmas Eve in 2023. A gunman broke in, a guy called Tristan Sherry, fired a number of shots at Jason Hennessy Snr. He passed away a number of days later in hospital, but Tristan Sherry was disarmed initially and then ultimately killed by a number of Jason Hennessy Snr's associates, who are now, I think 5 of them, is it, or 6 of them are currently...
They are, yeah. I think there's 6 of them, but there was actually 2 teenagers jailed for 9 years for his murder. They're obviously, they're not subject to the mandatory life sentence because they're juveniles. So they got their sentences. But yeah, those trials were heard earlier this year. There was actually an inquest for Jason Hennessy Snr only in recent months, and it was adjourned because it's still an active criminal investigation, but it was heard how Gardaí are still hopeful of, developing that case, even though Tristan Sherry is obviously deceased.
Yeah, and though that was a tense inquest as well, where some of the Hennessy Snr family were very unhappy with the Gardaí. There's obviously a degree of tension, and part of that, I suppose, is played out in this case. The Gardaí gave evidence where they had to take evasive action, and it was described as utmost horror, the attack. What was that sort of specific evidence?
So basically, like the judge had said, that the guards had said they tried, as you said, evasive action, and the judge believed they were terrified. And he said, I can only imagine the utmost horror which they experienced. And basically, they said that dog, Oddie, left the garden and pursued the gardaí, that he was dangerous and could easily have wounded the gardaí. I think they all had to, it was a cul-de-sac, so the gardaí are saying that they had to hide in certain different areas, different gardens and stuff like that. And it was also, so Ms Maher says that she didn't open the gate. She said that the dog hopped over the gate, and then it was also said that there was 2 other dogs in the cages in the back, and a neighbour gave evidence saying that she didn't see or think that the dog was let out the gate. She said that the dogs were safe. They were often around children in the area, and there was photographs given in to the judge showing the dogs with different family members.
However, the judge kind of interpreted that differently as proof of the dog, instead of proof of the dogs being safe, but proof of this potentially being a risk to the children.
Exactly, yeah, and he did, and that was basically part of the reason why he ruled that they were dangerous, and that they were not in control, and then that they should be destroyed under this act. So basically he ruled with the gardaí in the end.
Yeah, so he found the dogs were dangerous, not under proper control, and he acceded to the application to grant the destruction for all 4 dogs.
Yeah.
Now, there was a 2-week stay was put on it to allow for an appeal, which is, but obviously then the issue of costs was spoken about, and that will keep it alive. Obviously the XL bully dogs, which I suppose an umbrella term for a lot of these dogs. We have had, a lot of very serious incidents, including a young woman losing her life down in Shannon, was it?
In Limerick. Nicola Morey. Yeah, she was basically mauled by her pit bull type dogs, and obviously died from horrific injuries that she suffered. And obviously there's been legislation now around, that existing owners of pit bull dogs had to get registration to show that they already had them. But I think there's now legislation that you can't get new dogs. Is that right?
Yeah, so pit bulls are considered restricted, and there's rules they must follow. But in Ireland, from last October, there's a ban on XL bully dogs, and it's illegal to own one without a certificate of exemption. Is what is said. So, yeah, look, it's there. We will go back to court if we hear an appeal in this case. Yeah,
and it was, to go back on that, was an XL bully type dog that did kill Nicola Morey. And so existing owners can obviously apply for that certificate. But so they, as you said, it's been put back till it's been adjourned pending appeal, but also they wanted to decide on the costs that have accrued since the dogs have basically been put into an animal home pending this case, and they've been in there since April. So they've been a dog pound, so they wanted to basically rule on the cost of keeping those animals since then as well. So that will be heard on the next court sitting.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that again, Eimear.
Okay, thanks, man.
Thanks.
I'm Nicola Tallant, and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.